CJ, thank you for making it out. Cheers.
Cheers.
What do you think of this black water?
I'm so intrigued. I thought that the black water was a wrap, but it's actually black water.
It's actually black water.
That's so sick.
I think it's like volcano water or something.
It's got amino acids. Yeah, it really doesn't taste like anything. This
doesn't
is wild.
taste like nothing. And you think it's going to taste like something, but it tastes like nothing. And it's alkaline.
I
and
love
it's through the roof, electrolytes. First time I had this was I was staying at the Cosmopolitan.
Oh,
and I went.
love Cosmo.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Is it? Yeah.
Cosmo and Wynn. Mm-hmm. That's it. Actually, I like staying at Encore better than Wynn.
Have you been at the shows at Cosmo?
Yeah. Which ones?
I think I always forget the name, but I think it's called Opium.
I haven't been to Opium yet.
It's so good.
No, I've seen the concerts there.
Wait. Okay.
Yeah, Opium's
Is it
there.
called Opium? And it has the
It's like the
astronaut guy.
It's the astronaut
That's
space traveling.
Yeah. It's the best fucking show, and it's in a smaller venue, so every seat is like a good seat.
Yeah, yeah, and then the closer, the better. Obviously, you know the deal.
Topless jokes, magic tricks.
Yeah, I heard it's wild.
It's by like the something brothers, Vernelli brothers or whatever. They do also the other one. What's the other one? Absinthe.
Absinthe.
Yeah.
Is that the Cosmo?
No, I think it's somewhere else, but it's like a top rated. I always have to see tits when I go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Either in a show, like a performing show or like a burlesque show, or at the topless pool at Sapphire.
I get stuck gambling. I fucking get stuck gambling. I go there. I do high limit machines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
right.
the reason I do that. If we're gonna talk about gambling, it's because if you just look at the stats, there's like 10,000 machines outside, and then inside there's like 100 machines. Okay. And what ends up happening is people play the outside machines. People pay like minimum bet. They pay like 5 cents. Yeah. And what ends up happening is they take some of the good bonuses and they made no money because they only betted 5 cents. Where in the high limit room, you got people dropping a lot of money and they don't hit the bonus. Yeah. And then you have a chance of hitting that bonus.
Better. Okay.
And if you do hit something, if you do hit something, your odds are way better.
Okay. And so you're gonna win more. You're gonna spin faster, but you're gonna win more.
You're gonna exactly.
Okay. Important question.
Yeah.
If you're with a girl, do you give her any of the money? Or do you give her money? Or do you give her money to play? Or does she sit next to you? And if you win, do you give her any money? Or do you take her shopping? The most important question that we'll talk about all this entire interview.
When I gamble, like it's kind of like a personal thing, like
you don't share your gambling.
Yeah, like
with
that,
anybody.
like I don't mind spending money afterwards, right? But it's
you want to do it by yourself.
It's like, hey, yeah, because it can get stressful. Mm-hmm. You sit in a machine and you play, X amount of money, and somebody sees that, they're like, what the fuck? Stop. And it's like, all you need is one spin.
Right.
My last trip was really bad, and then I saw my host. I go, dude, like, if I'm doing bad, okay, I'm obviously pissed. But when I see everybody else in the room doing bad and they're complaining, this is a big issue. Like, what's going on? And he just says, it's just one spin. And I'm not even kidding. I was at 3 spins left, and on the last spin, I recovered everything. And I was like,
really?
All right, I'm good. This is
spoken like a true addict.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just one spin. Just give me one more hit.
Do you know where's the number one place in the world that they pray?
They pray?
They pray.
In a church or
in a casino. Please, really? God, let me make my money back. I promise I won't do this.
Who's recording these facts?
No, it's anybody that's a gambler knows, because when they're down, they're like, I'll stop smoking. Just fucking let me get my money back. What did I do? Okay. And anybody that gambles knows what I'm talking about. Okay. And so it's a joke, but it's a true joke.
I love it.
Because they're forced to, and they'll do this for hours. Like, dude, come on. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna go to the ATM, and oh man, I can't lose. Yeah. Oh, don't do this again. I'll go to bed. I won't play anymore. Just break even. I won't play anymore. But anyways,
I love it.
How would you introduce yourself? You have a podcast. You're a bikini model. You're a influencer. You're so many things.
I typically say sober bikini model and content creator. I used to introduce myself back in the day as like CJ Sparks, Playboy Playmate, this many times. I think it's like 8 covers or something, like 8 time published. But now I'm like,
Sober bikini model's pretty fucking.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of like what encompasses my life now, and then content creator, but yeah, a podcast host, something like that. Yeah, I'm super excited. Like I'm on fire for podcasts right now, so pretty much.
Yeah, I saw it's a nice production too.
Yeah, we're so fortunate. Abstraction Media produces it. Max Amini is a producer, and he's like, I mean, you know, we call him the pod daddy, but he's like the daddy of the whole situation. Like, it was actually his brainchild, the Inside OnlyFans. People are like, how did you come up with it? I'm like, I wish I came up with it. I don't know the first thing about podcasts.
Yeah.
This is a lot of electrical work. Like my phone is like all messed up currently. Like I don't know how phones work or anything. Like,
so you just show up and record.
I just show up and record.
That's
it's incredible. Awesome. Yeah, I just well, I help get a lot of the guests though too, which can be stressful at times. Yeah,
but you have a great influence and following. So
yeah,
that should
I'm
be
so
easy.
Fortunate. Yeah. You know, it's not as easy as you would think. But I will say, I had a lot of these OnlyFans girls, right, and guys. We're creative, so, and maybe you can relate to this. We kind of like come and go with the wind a little bit.
Yeah.
Nowadays, especially with something like OnlyFans, you do have certain time restrictions and time sensitive things so you understand the concept of time a little bit better. But I'm used to like people that might not show up, like that they're gonna say that they're gonna show up. But we've been so fortunate, like everyone with our podcast, every time. I don't know why. I think that they're not gonna show. I think that like they don't value it enough, but everyone shows up on time for the most part, raring to go, and just awesome. Feeling
people
like
are
super
accepting
excited.
It more.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
you know, because 2 years ago, I started 2 years ago, and I started pretty strong. You know, contacting people and calling friends of friends of friends, etc. And people were like, podcast, and what do you mean? Like, you know, trying to be like Joe, like Joe Rogan was the bar, and it's like. No, there's so many more categories.
Right.
And there's so many things to talk about that people, like, it's weird, but there's not enough content, you know?
Do you really think there's not enough content? That's
I do.
So good. That makes me feel so much better.
Well, think about, here, I'll give you a perfect example.
Okay.
How many times have you went to Netflix and you're like, what the fuck am I going to watch? And you just scroll, and you have no idea what to watch.
Yeah, every day.
You know what Netflix did recently to me?
What?
I was looking. I got a text message. I'm responding to the text message, and then I look up, and Netflix was like, you should probably watch this, and it suggested what to watch, and I was like, fuck it,
right?
And I watched, and I was like,
dangerous.
Yeah,
I'm a gambling man.
Yeah.
What does Netflix have to say?
Yeah, well, let's do it, and it was pretty good. Yeah, it was a French movie, The Restless or something.
Okay, so there was nudity and sex in it.
There was dead bodies. Very few nudity.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? For French?
A French movie.
Typically, it's a lot of sex and nudity.
Yeah, it was a police.
Violence,
it was like
right?
this guy he was fucking stealing money and something. And then he hit somebody and killed somebody. And then they were looking for the guy. And it was like, it was a brain. It was stressful. But I wouldn't have watched it. You know, like,
but you would say that it's indicative of something that you would watch.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, they were pretty spot on.
Wild, right?
That's pretty. Yeah.
I've gotten those suggested things to buy on Instagram, or like the shopping on Instagram, and I haven't bought anything yet.
Right.
But every time I'm like, this is so sick. Like, I do want this. Like, something will happen. I've went to go buy things several times, and then it's like a third party, so I'll have to like re-enter my PayPal or like re-enter something, and I won't know the password.
Yeah.
So that has stopped me. But it's all stuff I would buy, like furniture, household stuff, purses, sunglasses. I'm like, how does this is wild.
It fucking knows.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like my Instagram's like bikinis, guns, and motorcycles.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, you know me so well.
Oh, your suggested page. Yeah.
You know me so well. And
mine is stripper poles and pugs.
And pugs?
Yeah.
Hilarious. What about pugs on stripper poles?
I know, right? If I saw a pug on a stripper pole, that's it.
I bet you people lose their fucking mind. If you just did an Instagram page, pugs and the stripper poles.
One of my girlfriends said that I should dress up like a pug and like do a stripper pole dance.
That would even be better. And a pug's watching. Or pugs are watching you.
Oh my God, that would be so
pugs
great.
Pugs are watching. That'd be fucking insane.
Oh my God.
And then you're
Inception.
from Northern California, huh?
Yes.
You miss it?
I'm originally from a small town called Galt.
After Stockton, before Sacramento, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. If you're coming up from like the San Francisco area, yeah, after Stockton, before Sacramento, correct, yes. And it's like a tiny little cow town, kind of like we used to play on the railroad tracks. There was like a mud volleyball, king and queen. There's like a store called the Herald Store. Like it was like the store, you know, like there's one grocery store, one stoplight. Now they got a Walmart. My grandma was all in like an uproar about that. Like the Walmart's going to come in and
change everything.
Yeah, change everything.
And it's going to mess with the local businesses.
And it did though. But you know what? Like everybody wanted it and everyone shops there now, even my grandma. So,
yeah.
But really like, my parents got divorced, grew up in a trailer, lived on a farm. Super fun, super simple way of life. I'm like really grateful because we played like out in the dirt. I like had my cousins and I was the oldest of 4. So I like to think like, I think I was kind of that generation. I'm 36. So I think
look amazing.
Thank you. Lots of plastic surgery. All very proud of it. Shout out Dr. Omar.
Dr. Omar.
Dr. Omar. Yeah. I'm going to see him on Saturday. But I feel like I had such a beautiful childhood in the way of not having a cell phone. I got a cell phone in high school. But for the most part, my childhood,
but we didn't have cell phones, like in a sense.
Yeah, I was like playing Snake, or like, you know, you text somebody like I'm coming over now. You know, like you call them on the house phone, and then you like text them when you leave, like I'm coming over now, because like you were charged per text message.
Right.
And so yeah, I feel like I had such a charmed childhood in that. My mom and dad had a really messy, nasty divorce. There's a lot of like religious based trauma there. But other than that, like growing up on a farm, playing with my cousins.
The dream.
Yeah.
And in California.
Yeah, it was I had a lot of fun. So much fun.
Did you get out of did you get chances to get out of town a lot or no?
No. Where are we going to go? Going into town, like there would be an announcement, because it was like my grandma, my grandpa, and then us in the trailer, my mom and the 3 kids, and then 4 when she married my stepdad. And then my aunt and my uncle on the backside, it was 5 acres, and my 4 cousins. And whenever anybody went into town, it was an announcement. Yeah. We're going into town. Does anybody need anything? So like going into town was like a big deal. Yeah. And then once a year, we would go vacation in Dillon's Beach, like in the off season. So it'd be fucking freezing. Right. Freezing. Yeah,
it gets cold up
It's
there.
not like you think like, oh, California, the beach, how bad could it be?
No.
Freezing.
It freezes.
Overcast. The sand hurts. We don't care. We're kids. We're boogie boarding the shit out of ourselves. Like the stomach's all raw. Yeah. We don't care. We think it's great. Like I was always confused. Like why are we always the only ones on the beach? Like what's happening? But we go in the off season when it was cheap, and that was like our one vacation that we would go on.
Good times, huh?
Yeah, we didn't care. We thought it was great.
I used to do that. I'd go to Florida and during the winter, and you know, for us, people from California, it's fucking beautiful, you know, but I'd jump in the water and people thought I was crazy. Like, oh my God, it's freezing. You're going to die. I'm like,
you're a kid. You don't care.
Yeah. You don't care. Exactly. You don't care.
Now I think like, doesn't that Wim Hof guy,
fucking love him.
Yeah. He does the ice baths. And my friend was telling me,
have you tried it?
It's really, I've been to this spa called Voda Spa. It's in West Hollywood. Have you ever?
No.
So good. You got to try it. If anybody has not tried Voda Spa, so good.
Voda Spa.
Russian banya. It used to be like a little dingy, because I really think like some people from like they came from Russia and they were like, this is it, 4 walls, a salt pool, 4 super crazy banyas, super hot banyas, and then a ice bath. It's not actual ice in the bath. It's just super freezing. Yeah. And it's deep enough to where like most average people could go in. And it'll come about right to your chest, and then you sink down a little bit. You can go you can plunge your whole body. But the temperature is as if it's an ice bath, and they keep it like that all day. Wow. Or they call it cold plunge. Wow. So yeah. Same concept. And I go there and do that.
How many times do you go back and forth?
You should go at least 4, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is it, like 5 minutes or something?
5 minutes in the cold plunge. Holy shit. That's so long.
Isn't it like after like 2 minutes, it's like, it's kind of like.
I mean, cryo is like 3, right?
Is it? I haven't tried cryo.
Oh, you got to try cryo.
Yeah.
It's so good, especially after you get off a long flight, or if you've had like, if you had a long weekend and you're out drinking, because you're super
I started doing the IVs.
Swollen.
Like if I go crazy, I do the IVs just to like.
You all that out. It's like, no.
You do, but you get all the vitamins in it. And at that moment when you wake up with that hangover, it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I would get a B12.
Yeah.
And I would get a cryo after I had like a long weekend, and I'd be like.
Back to normal.
Raring to go. Yeah. Yeah. But it's so good. And then I go there to Voda, and I do that. And, they were membership, and it was like thousands of dollars for membership. So who would have thought, like, when we were young, we're like getting all these thousands of dollars of cold plunge in the freezing ocean.
I remember doing that as a kid too. We used to have like a hot tub, and then the pool wasn't heated, and we'd jump back and forth, and my mother would scream, Rodrigo, what are you doing? You're going to get sick like that. And I was like, I don't care. And now it's like, that's the best way.
Yeah, that's the best.
And I think it's funny because Russians have a thing called skvozniak. And what skvozniak means is like when you have like 2 windows open and you get that little breeze through the house, they're scared of that. They're really scared of that because they're like, that air will get you sick. They're scared. Russians call this stuff skvozniak.
Okay.
And it's whenever there's a breeze entering the house that kind of hits your back, that's what gets you sick.
Whoa.
And I go, guys, that doesn't make sense. You jump in the ice, water.
You guys are killers.
You guys are killers and assassins, but tell them skvozniak and they'll be like,
breeze. I thought you were going to say something like it gets their soul or something. Takes their
no,
soul.
it's just a fucking breeze.
That's so funny.
And I've seen them panic and they're like, oh no, there's a skvozniak. Let's close the windows. And I'm like, really,
That's
dude?
so funny.
You just stood outside, smoked 1,000 cigarettes, and drank vodka for like 2 hours in the snow,
and it's like
you're
10 a.m.
worried about the breeze, and you jumped in the water.
Yeah.
So, but
so
but they have that. I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
It's all
and they
from
panic about that.
childhood.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those.
Just one of those things. They don't know why they do it. It's just from childhood.
Yeah. So then, when did you leave Northern California?
I left Northern California probably when I was I would go back and forth to LA for a while. I've been modeling for about 15 years.
How'd you get into that? Just
I got more into modeling. I wanted to buy, remember Craigslist?
Yeah.
Like when it used to be legit. Now it's like a little bit sketchy. I got into modeling because I needed to earn some extra money. Specifically, I wanted to buy my boyfriend a pinball machine, like this crazy pinball machine. I remember I needed more money, so then that's kind of how I got into nude modeling. I originally like realized I could do this modeling thing because I was friends with a girl, like this really beautiful blonde-haired, like big boobs girl, and I was like, wow, this is like everything I ever wanted to be in my life. Yeah. And she was doing like these modeling at these clubs and like doing like a lingerie photo shoot up on stage at the club, like with the DJ. I think about it now and it's so silly. Do you ever remember those? Like in the, I feel like in NorCal we did that a lot.
The going to the.
It's just like a photo shoot at a club.
Yeah. No, I've heard of them, but
it's like the silliest concept now. But for the longest time, that was the hot thing to do. Yeah,
especially in small towns.
Yeah, exactly. A small town. It's just like an entertainment. And so I started doing that, and I was like making a little bit of money because like people would come and I put them on a list, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. Like it just felt so, like I was above everybody, and I was like, this is like so neat. Like I'm here, I'm partying, but I'm like up here, and then everybody else is down there. So I felt super cool doing that. So I wanted to do more of that, and then I figured I hired a photographer, and I hired a few, and I had them give me like some tips and some pointers and stuff, and I would go and get like this kind of crazy jewelry at the thrift store, like a really cool dress at like a yard sale, and then I figured out on Craigslist. I don't know what I discovered first, Model Mayhem or Craigslist. And I started realizing I could make a little bit of money doing mostly nude work. Yeah. And it's like, so that was like how I fell into the nude modeling because I needed to make money.
Yeah, more money.
More money, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like do one day of nude modeling versus doing like 10 stupid car things. Or
Yeah. Well, I was doing that too. I was doing the car stuff. I had like 3 jobs at one point. I was doing...
So you did this pretty much like
all my
your
20s,
professional career.
Yeah, all my 20s, I partied so fucking hard. I like had a boyfriend. I don't know how I did any of this. I worked at Walmart. I was waitressing in the mornings. I would work at Walmart. I was like working at Mercedes. At one point and then I was like doing all this modeling on the side. And I'm really actually grateful for all that because I don't have like the energy level to do what I was doing then.
Yeah, of course.
Now I don't, and I don't have the patience either. I'm kind of I just know a little bit more about what I want. But at that point, everything was so brand new, and I just was so unsure. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for everything. And so I did that, and I would go back and forth to LA once I started getting a better feel for it. And
better car, more money.
Yeah, not necessarily a better car. I don't know. I was never
a car, yeah,
a car for sure. I was just always like drinking and like doing bad things, driving. And I didn't drive drunk too often, but I feel like I'd always get caught. I like wouldn't drive for a little while, but so I would go back and forth to LA.
We went through when we were young.
I know, right?
Fucking
Like how many times
and
we should have like died for sure.
Oh.
So many times.
Oh.
So many times.
I did a DUI class real quick, and then the instructor was like, guys, you got caught this time.
Yeah.
But more than likely, you did this 1,000 times. And I was like, damn, he's probably right.
Yeah.
You know? But
So
we didn't have
crazy.
Uber. We didn't have Lyft. We didn't have those things.
Yeah. I'll never forget. I got this taxi app before Uber, and you could see the taxi on its way to you. And I remember thinking, this is so cool. And I did use it, but it was like it was still so weird at that point, like getting into a stranger's car. Now I do that all the time, every day, because I hate driving. I'd rather be on my phone. But it's so weird to think like I just call a stranger and I'm like, hey, come get me. And it's like any number of strangers. It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be late at night. Like, I don't know who this person is.
You don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. But I just do it now all the time, but back in the day.
But now it's different because you have the car, make, model, license plate, driver, verified by Uber, blah, 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 blah. Like I was in Colombia one time and I called a taxi. This is before Uber.
Black taxi.
In Colombia?
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Well,
Black taxi.
Well, you can call a taxi, but like you don't want to stop a taxi.
Yeah.
That's where it gets crazy.
Right.
And when I called the taxi, they're like, all right, this is gonna be the plate number, this is gonna be the driver name, and this is gonna be the code.
Yeah.
And before you get in the taxi, you had to make sure driver's license plate name, and then what's the code.
Yeah.
And that's how you do that. And I was like, this is so dangerous. And then
So
when
dangerous.
Uber came out, dude, I got in early. So I was like, I'd go to a bar and come out and they'd be like, oh, did you drive here? I'd be like, no, I have a driver. I'm like, what do you mean you have a driver? Like, let me tell my driver to come. And like a black Escalade would come or a Tahoe and they'd be like, whoa.
It's like a woman's like immediately like blowing you in the backseat. You're like, this is my driver. She's like, yes.
She's like, oh my God. They're like, Robert? And I'm like, yes, Steve.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God. You know? And this was like the early.
I love it.
So that was a good time. And I got mad when everybody found out about Uber. I was
Of
like,
course.
no,
Yeah.
they
It's
took
like
away my.
Yeah.
But
I had
it's
a guy on a date recently try to say that, like, my driver. And he tried to, like, give the Uber driver, like, a tip, like, as if he was employed by this person. It was really strange. And the Uber driver was like, no, it's okay. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, people.
Guys, don't do that. Just don't. Just say, I got us an Uber.
Yeah.
I got a black,
back then, nobody knew
black.
what an Uber was. So it was two things.
No, it made sense for you then, for
explain
sure.
an app and then,
Right.
how to download it and like that. Or just, I had a driver back then. But after
Of
that,
course,
obviously,
yeah.
it never made sense.
Oh, God, yeah.
But it's interesting, too. A fun fact. I was talking to an Uber driver. And, I was like, what's the difference between like an Uber driver and a Lyft?
Yeah.
And
Is there a difference?
Yeah. For the drivers, I was like, what's the difference? Like, do you prefer driving for Uber or do you, because some people do both.
Yes.
And they go Lyft. It's always Lyft.
Really?
Lyft pays less, but, it's even the business model. Uber is your personal driver and Lyft is your friend with the car.
Okay.
So when people get in a Lyft, they're like, hey, what's up? Fist pound, But when people go on the Uber, they're like, yeah, drive faster, drive slow, go here. They're more commanding. So they get annoyed with the people sometimes. As a little survey I took.
I do remember the Lyft, like the pink mustaches.
Yeah. Because they were trying.
Candy.
But you know why they did that, right?
Yeah, why?
They were just trying to have girls. They wanted a safe ride for women.
Oh,
that was the thing. So they put this cute mustache, so girls feel like, oh, okay, cool. And here's the driver, and that was
a pink furry mustache.
That was ridiculous, wasn't it? Safe. But wasn't that ridiculous?
Get in, lady. There's a man in a van with candy and a pink mustache on the front.
But you ate the candy.
Sure as hell ate that candy.
This shit was good.
That's so funny. Okay, that's very cool. Yeah. I do remember that though. Now that you say that, and the fist bump and everything.
Yeah.
You're like, Lyft is cool.
Lyft is cool. Like my friend with the car. Yay.
Yeah.
But remember how bad it was if you when we were younger, if you were at a party and a friend drove you, you had to dude, I'm done. Can you take me home, man? This is is fucking. I'm trapped.
Right.
You'd be trapped at parties.
Oh my God.
Like how many times have you been trapped at a party in your teens? Like you're just like, I want to fucking go.
This happened to me recently. One time in Sacramento, probably about a year and a half ago, and I wasn't as strong in my sobriety, and it was a smaller town, kind of inside or on the outskirts of Sacramento, and there just wasn't any Lyft or Uber drivers available, and I was so stuck. And I'll never forget, I was I was so like, I was riddled with anxiety. I was just like, oh my, everywhere I looked, like somebody was like trying to, you know, like offer me a drink or like offering me group sex or like offering me like, oh, you know, like trying to have a creepy conversation and like spilling alcohol on me. And I'm like, oh my God, I just want to get out of here. Yeah. Yeah. But actually.
Did you fall into the temptation?
No. Cause like all those people were, I mean, everyone was just wasted. Like what fun are you really having? But I actually, and it was so bad. So yeah, you actually just reminded me of that. It was so bad, but we're so fortunate here in LA. Like we don't really, if you have to wait for more than 5 minutes for like an Uber or a Lyft, you're like, what is wrong with the system? I'm being failed. Yeah. But that's so funny. That's so interesting. Yeah, I'm really grateful. I don't know if I could be sober if we didn't have things like Uber and Lyft because I just constantly Irish goodbye all the time.
Well, it's just so convenient too. I have friends that are you know pretty wealthy, and they had a few supercars. They got rid of it.
Yeah,
they go between parking and valet and parking tickets and gas and services and this that like literally dropped my overhead $8,000 getting rid of cars. Yeah, you know, and I'm like, dude, $8,000, and that's just like monthly payments plus when you add everything else, you know, it's insane. You know, so it's very, very convenient.
I'm going to tell people that's what I did, that I got rid of my supercar.
Yeah. No, and I know actual people have done it, and it's a real thing.
It's just kind of
like, how do you justify
if you're especially in West Hollywood. You're in
LA,
or Orange County or something like that.
Well, especially if you have things like Toro, you know, like if you need, you know, a fucking crazy looking car, just go pick one up, you know. It's easier to do that once than to continuously have this thing.
Yeah.
In
LA
your garage.
we are such like the city of, not to take it on a dark spin, but we're such the city of fakers.
There's a lot of
like
fucking
just
fakers.
Go rent like a really nice car. You know, you can rent shoes, you can rent purses, you can rent like a really nice dress. Like they have this thing called Rent the Runway.
You can rent shoes and purses.
Yeah. You can just, or even me, I can go to a designer and I can say like, hey, can I borrow? You know, I can go through their Instagram and say, hey, can I borrow this look? I have somewhere that I'm going. Most of the time they'll be like, yeah, because it's something, this is what the celebrities have been doing. They don't like really, so-and-so is going to the Oscars. Sometimes they will have these dresses made.
$200,000 dress.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have them made specifically for that person or designed specifically for that person, and they'll keep it, they'll take it home. But most often than not, it's just a dress that it was made for the person for that particular event, and then it goes back to the showroom, and that's it. Like they're not really buying any of these things.
It's funny because we're having this conversation. It's like anybody from LA is like, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
You know, like, but people in the world do not know that.
I used
and remember
to really
the gift
think
baskets?
That, yeah.
Remember the gift baskets celebrities would get like at the red carpets, and there would be like a Rolex watch, a fucking expensive this, expensive, and it was just a gift bag. Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Here you go for the famous.
Yeah.
But
I love that. I'm gonna go get free Botox in a couple days too. God bless.
So you're a big fan of plastic surgery.
I love plastic surgery.
You ever thought about doing it out of the country?
I'm a little scared to do it out of the country. I have a girlfriend who actually just about a month ago messaged me, and she was like, there's this clinic in Turkey that wants influencers. Do you need like a nose job, or do you need some like lipo, or do you need like anything that you'd be comfortable talking about on social media? And I was like, you know what? I've had so many plastic surgeries. Like I've had at least like 20 different plastic surgeries.
You can't even tell. Amazing doctor.
I feel like I still want to age. Like I don't want to look like somebody different. I think that's where sometimes the plastic surgery gets skewed a little bit, where you have like these super, super huge breasts or a super, super fake butt.
Yeah, exaggerated.
Like really exaggerated, like, almost like a caricature.
This is natural.
Yeah, I mean, that's not all the way natural. But
this is a natural look.
Right. I would like to think that kind of like what I have going on, if you were somebody that grew up with me, you would still say like, okay, yeah, I still see CJ. And I know that also like the caricature stuff is a certain look for certain people. I'm not necessarily like speaking out against that, but I just think that for me, I've never really wanted to look like something else. I've always wanted to look like the best version of myself. And I'm not necessarily afraid of aging. I think there's also that misconception. People think if I go do some Botox or I get something like nipped or tucked or lipo or whatever, oh, you don't want to look, you want to look fake. You don't want to accept that you're aging or whatever, that you're getting older. I just kind of feel like I'm like of the Dolly Parton-esque, where it's like if something's falling, I want to get it picked up. Or if something's dragging, like I want to see what I can do to like fix that. But I mean, you know, Dolly Parton versus like Madonna, I guess.
Yeah.
This might be a little bit out of your scope, or some of the male viewers might be
I
a little bit out
understand.
of your scope. Dolly Parton she's kind of looked that way for many, many years, and she still looks relatively good, I would think. And Madonna is kind of somebody that I would say is maybe not necessarily the desirable look, or not necessarily, she's not doing the plastic surgery thing the right way. So, so I try to get my plastic surgery done the right way. With that being said, I hear so many horror stories of people going out of the country to try to get a cheap plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And my version of that is I've had like a really horrible lip filler that I got for free. But
I think everybody went through the bad lip thing.
But you know what? The thing about it is that you get it for free.
Right.
And a lot of these people will get it for free. Some don't. If you're paying for it, oh my God, I can't. That's crazy. But especially if you get it for free, or you get a plastic surgery for free, you just can't help but go extreme and want more, and it's free. So it's like, it's fucked up. Or it's very inexpensive. It's not always free, but it's very inexpensive. Or you go and you post about it in Turkey or whatever. The thing about it is, if it gets done wrong,
you're fucked.
You're kind of fucked.
You're fucked temporarily, and especially if you're making a career off your images and your looks.
That's the thing. I've seen some horror stories. I follow a couple plastic surgery blogs.
Yeah.
And I know, there's got to be good doctors everywhere. And there's also bad doctors in Beverly Hills. People get plastic surgery in Beverly Hills and in LA.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, so you just have to do your research. I haven't gone out of the country yet, but I guess what I'm saying is that I wouldn't be against it.
But
you
you'd be
really have to do your research. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people, they go to Colombia.
To Colombia to get the BBL.
They do I had my my friend's ex-wife, she was very fit, gym fanatic, but this was like 6 years ago. She did teeth, chin, nose. She took a little bit from here that was, whatever, injection in the butt, and it was like $5,000.
Yeah, wow.
Back then. Yeah. And it was like just a nose job. Right. Back then it was like $10,000, $15,000.
Oh, for sure. That'd be $50,000.
Now it's even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if you look at the stories of Colombia, they have tons and tons of plastic surgeons, and people don't know that Pablo Escobar was the one that brought plastic surgeons to Colombia because he was hiding drugs in women's bodies. Like, he'd get models.
What?
Oh, you didn't know this? It was fucking dark. So he would kidnap. He would be like, oh, there's a doctor in Mexico, or a famous doctor. He'd be like, hey, doc, let's go check this out. Let's go to Colombia. And he'd kidnap him, and he would have him do these surgeries. And this became such a big thing that they ended up making.
What kind of surgery?
Well, like a breast implant, but they would put cocaine. They put cocaine inside. Stop. And then they would fly the girl to Mexico. No, this was humongous. No. They made a soap opera about it.
What? What's it called?
It's called Sin Senos No Hay Paraíso. So it means without tits, there's no paradise.
Stop.
And it's got like 5. It's a good fucking show. It's an older show.
Okay, you'll have to send me.
But I hope they can't hear this. But
there's a leaf blower happening.
Yeah, I don't even know why. There's no leaves.
It's Pablo out there. He's like fucking telling all my
no. Oh, there's so many soap. They made the soap opera, the novela, because they wanted to inform the public. Because there was a lot of women that were missing, So, for example, they would get beautiful girls and they'd be like, oh, you want to be a model? Here's some money. Come to my mansion. They're like, wow. Yeah. And they're like, look, we have a deal in Spain. We'll take you out there for 2 months. You'll get paid $40,000. Imagine the 90s, 80s, 90s.
Right.
And we'll fly you back. Here are the other models we have. Once they took them to Spain, they would put them in whorehouses, inject them with heroin, take away their phones, and they were lost forever. And this happened. Oh, it was very sad. So
Why would they do that? I thought you were going to say that they put drugs in their boobs.
Well, then that was one thing. The other thing is they would do the drugs, and then they would fly them to Mexico, and then they would either fix them, or sometimes they would just let them. It was bad. So the point of this soap opera was to inform the public of how evil this was. But I don't know. Should we take a time out real quick?
Sure.
I just feel bad about
That's fine.
Okay, 1 second. So, but now I think like even fucking LA is crazy.
I know. Oh my God. There was helicopters around my apartment this morning for an hour and a half. Apparently there was a man wielding a knife, a shank or something. I'm like, 9:30 in the morning? Like, what?
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Probably hasn't slept. He's probably upset about something, who knows?
Stayed up all night.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm in West Hollywood. My rent does not reflect like this type of behavior.
Yeah.
So that was annoying. But I was trying to get my therapy. Big proponent of therapy, by the way. every Wednesday at 10 a.m. I have 45 minutes with my therapist, probably for about 3 years, maybe a little less.
Every Wednesday, once a week. Okay, continue. No, I wanted to ask, like, do you, is it just pure therapy, or do you kind of see it like a mentoring as well, or?
I really love my therapist. His name is Chris Donahue. He's a really well-respected sex therapist. I wouldn't say that he's like a mentor. He's mentor-y in some ways.
Yeah.
I would say he's...
Wait, what the fuck is a sex therapist?
So, like, because I do, like, the OnlyFans, and
Right.
because I did, like, the webcamming, like, years ago, and I, like, got into, like, nude modeling so fast, and I was in a relationship, and the guy that I was seeing, and how I kind of came to know about Chris Donahue is we were trying to figure out, like, how I kind of had arrived at this space in my life. Really, I think my boyfriend at the time was trying to shame me into, like, stopping the OnlyFans and stopping the sex work and all that. But I had always been curious because I was raised super religiously.
Yeah.
So I had always thought, like, why was somebody just like, okay, so if you take off your clothes and take pictures and I give you this money, like, and that's for me, like, kind of made sense. Yeah. So I guess we were kind of trying to unpack that because I guess, not everybody thinks that way.
Right.
There's a lot of women that would be like, wait a minute, I would never show my body, like, for money. Like, Are you kidding?
Yeah.
But at the time, I mean, I needed money. So I was just like, okay, it seems like an even exchange. And so my boyfriend was like, how, something's wrong with you. Like, how did you arrive? And like, and you've now stayed in it for so long. Like, we've got to get you out of this.
I mean, it kind of makes sense what you're saying.
Right. I could see, like, him and I are definitely not on good terms. He did a lot of, like, really fucked up shit to me and still does. It's so strange. But I can appreciate that as somebody that was dating me was like, this disturbs me and it's not normal, I guess. So, like, let's try to figure it out. So I can appreciate that part of it,
Right.
So, and then I think he thought that he was going to get this sex therapist involved, and this sex therapist was going to tell me, no, this is the wrong way to be sexual, and over here is the right way to be sexual, and, like, makes all these suggestions and kind of, like, turn my life around or turn it into a different direction at least.
Right.
And so,
and I'm listening. I just want to check the camera.
Of course, yeah. But that's not what happened. And so I kind of just became more comfortable with what I was doing, more confident. We were trying to figure out kind of, like, where it came from, and if I am going to go on with it, or, like, what does that look like as far as, like, my future.
Like, he kind of wanted to make you choose, like, do this or choose me.
Yeah, kind of a thing.
That's kind of so bad, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why the relationship didn't work out. That among a bunch of other things, but
if you turned it around, like, if you would have quit it for him, then it's like, all right, 10 years later, like, dude, like, I shouldn't have done that.
That's the thing, is that I'm a big proponent of marriage, and I'm a big proponent of I guess, like, masculine and feminine energy. I really believe in that. And I was fortunate enough, before my parents had a horrible, nasty divorce, they were, for the most part, like, very functioning. I saw my mom being, like, very loving with my dad, and like, kind of, she was the homekeeper, so she would make dinner for us, and he would go to work, and so I saw more the traditional. So I value that. I respect that. If there's anybody watching that doesn't value that or doesn't like that, that's totally cool too. But that's just
your opinion.
Yeah. So I desire that, is what I'm saying. So I desire, like, a traditional relationship. So that being said, I would be open if I ever got in a relationship and the guy was like, I don't really know how I feel about you continuing to do this. We're dating, we're serious, I love you. Like, let's maybe discuss getting you out of this. Let's figure it out together. I'd be super open for that conversation. And I'd be super open to saying, okay, let's get married and make sure that everything is taken care of, that we're all good financially, and then quitting, you know, the OnlyFans or the sex work or the nudity or kind of however you want to call it. I'm super down for that. And that would make sense for me if I was in like a super stable relationship, which I also know that that's not for everybody. And maybe I might get some shit for saying that. But that being said, this person was kind of like, no, if you love me, you'd quit.
Right.
Type of a thing.
Yeah,
and I'm
ultimatum.
like, that's not really like a discussion. Like, we got to discuss this. It's like my whole life pretty much.
Could I say that in earlier times when you were doing these nude shots and modeling, etc., there was more sex involved versus now that you're online content and you don't have to really go to, you know, a nightclub or a private house or anything.
Right.
Would you say there's less sex compared to what there was before?
Okay, so let me ask you to clarify, like sex, like actual sex?
Well, that's what, because you said
like
sex. Well, I'm saying whatever you meant by sex, because you're saying sex, modeling this.
Yeah.
But they're like 3 different categories,
Right.
and it's like, well, which ones are?
So like the term that triggers people, which I feel like it doesn't get used as much anymore, is the term sex work. And so I think,
Right.
yeah,
Which
sex work can, it's kind of a wild term. And I think this is why it seems like we don't use it as much anymore, because people think sex, like
Right.
you're having sex,
Right,
you're
that's what I was-
exchanging. Yeah. And, I feel like, you know, if you're like a prostitute or you're an escort, you're still doing like a very valid job. It's the oldest profession in
100%.
the world.
100%.
I haven't had to do anything like that. I haven't decided to pick up anything like that. So, I would be different in that there wasn't any sex acts involved. I've had sugar daddies. I talk about that all the time, but,
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's different.
Right.
Some people wouldn't agree, but in my opinion, that's different.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I haven't done like a escorting type of a thing. So for me, there wasn't any actual sex.
Right.
But when people say sex work, they mean like a OnlyFans girl or a girl that's maybe posting.
That's kind of more what I wanted
which
to
is
clarify.
which is kind of fucked up, no? Because there's like no sex.
Yeah.
But because you're nude. And so this is like also the thing that it comes
They couldn't
in,
add the, like, you know, sexy work.
right, sexy work or like stripping or something. It's like nobody's having sex there, but I guess because you're nude, it falls under this like largely blanketed term of like sex work. And so maybe I should actually even refrain from using that in my interviews from now on. But I mean, it's kind of such an old terminology.
Or sexy, just, you know, because
Yeah.
even sexy work is like,
Right.
okay, sexy work.
Right.
Sex work, you're like, oh,
Right.
okay, so what led to, you know.
Exactly. You assume kind of that, that
Right.
it's you're having sex, which would make total sense. But
Right.
yeah, so I definitely
You're working
I
for
definitely
sex.
wasn't. Yeah, I definitely wasn't doing that. But even just like a nude photo shoot would fall under that term, so to speak.
Got it.
Yeah, it's very misleading. So just to clarify for the viewers at home, some woman's like, I'm changing the channel.
Oh
Oh,
my
wait,
God,
no,
what
she
is
wasn't
this?
having sex for money. Okay, I'll stay watching. I'll just, 30 more seconds. Let's see what the truth is going here.
Isn't it fucking ridiculous that a woman can have sex with anybody she wants for free, but if she charges, it's against the law?
Yeah, I think it's kind of silly,
No, it's really silly because what
Yeah.
ends up happening is you're making it more dangerous for them now. Because
Right.
if it was legal, they'd be protected and they would be in a
Right.
safe environment.
Just tax it. It's
Right.
like weed.
Just tax it.
Tax
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have
Well-
the ladies walking around, have the areas that they need to go, have them pay a tax, and like let's all move on.
And move on.
Yeah.
And it's back to the whole drug thing. It's like making drugs illegal doesn't prevent anybody from doing it.
Right.
It's just the people that are doing it now have to buy it from unknown sources and
Right.
untrusted people, and you don't know
Right.
what you're getting.
And there's a lot of talk about that too, because now people are dying from the fentanyl.
Oh, it's so
overdoses.
fucking crazy.
It's rampant. In
You know,
AA.
Oregon legalized everything, right?
Yeah, I don't really know about that though. That's kind of a lot.
Well,
right?
they decriminalized it.
Yeah.
They decriminalized it, so you would think they're going to start doing something like what they did
Right.
with the weed, where they're going to be
Right.
testing it, and the companies are going to be
Right.
producing it, and it's going to be better controlled. It's going to be better quality.
Right.
Because the
right.
problem is if you get cocaine in Colombia, that shit's fucking fire, right?
Fire,
That's just like,
yeah,
"Wow,"
I
you
know.
It's the greatest thing in the world.
I'm like, maybe I should never go to Colombia.
But by the time it gets to Mexico,
Right.
and then by the time it gets to California, and by the time it gets to dude, that thing's been chopped up so many times that you're like,
times,
oh man, I don't
Yeah.
know about this shit. This shit's fucking crazy.
Right.
You know, so I think that's the biggest
That's
problem.
the dangerous part.
But that's the
yeah.
same thing with prostitution. A girl can sleep with anybody, but the moment she charges money, it's a big,
Yeah.
it's taboo.
Yeah, and that's kind of I would even take it a step further and say a girl, a woman really can't sleep with everyone and then it's taboo for free. Cause then she's just like a slut.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, it's interesting. I would say it's interesting to be a woman right now. It's kind of tough to be a man. I kind of feel for men.
It's so hard to be a fucking dude.
I mean, I don't know if you're being serious or not, but
it's so hard.
Honestly, I feel for guys now.
I'm questioning everything I'm asking you, but you're giving such a cool vibe that I'm like, all right, I can ask a fucking question.
I want you to be open.
But there's so many questions that in the back of my head, I'm like, fuck, will she get offended? Is she gonna throw black water on me?
No,
will the black water stain?
No.
Like
you can ask whatever. If I don't want to answer it, I'll just say it.
Yeah. No, but it's very difficult to approach women, to have conversations, to make comments. You gain some weight, or hey, you nice ass, or you say anything, it could trigger this thing.
Well, just not even you've gained some weight or nice ass, because if you say either of those things to me, that's fucking weird. Don't tell me I've gained weight, and don't fucking tell me I have a nice ass because I just met you.
Right. I know,
but even if you were to open up the door for me, like you open up the door for me, some woman might take that as like, what, you don't think I can't open up my own door? Yeah. Or like if you pull out the seat for a woman, I can pull out my own seat. I don't need that. And it's just like, whoa. Or like you buy a drink, or, oh, I don't need that drink. He's going to try to harass me all night. And it's like, maybe I'm just trying to buy you a drink, or maybe I'm just being a gentleman.
The point is, it's like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But you really can't do anything. Yeah. If it's nice ass, you gain weight, opening the door, closing the door, pulling out a chair. It's like you can't. Yeah. Everything is a red flag.
Yeah. Men are a little bit like, y'all are
if I show my car, it's a problem. If I don't show my car, it's a problem. If I fucking like... Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Toxic masculinity. That's problematic behavior. And it's like, oh my God.
If I get a phone call and I get a little flustered, I go, fuck. Oh shit, this guy's aggressive. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, I just fucking lost a deal. Or
I'm a masculine man. I'm expressing myself. Now, if you're throwing things, breaking things, that's different. But you're a man, you're masculine, you're expressing yourself in a masculine way. You're not geared towards anybody, right?
But now
everything's under a microscope.
Being a man, you have to question it, because you got to see who's fucking watching you and how they're gonna take it.
Yeah, and I feel for guys on that too. I mean, we don't have to go like super into this, because I know everyone's probably tired of hearing about it. But case in point, something like what Johnny Depp is going through, like it's really, people. I do kind of feel like men sometimes aren't allowed to have like emotions, or aren't allowed to like experience things in the way that
100% they're not.
In the way that we're allowed.
And here's the thing: a woman doesn't even want to see her man emotional.
Right. Right.
Yeah. They don't want to see it.
Right. I
think they'll entertain it. Oh, honey, what's going on? Right. Nothing. Tell me. Oh, fuck. They hate that shit. They fucking hate it. In the back of their head, this little fucking bitch. Yeah. What is my man complaining about? Like they'll convince you to pull it out, but they'll be like, fuck this. Right. This guy's a bitch, man. Right. Who did I marry?
I have seen that in some social settings. Yeah.
Oh, they'll walk away and they'll talk to their friends, but my God, so fucking so-and-so.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to say really like, I'm actually guilty of that. I'm guilty of that. I'm totally guilty of that. I was dating somebody after this
fucking holding the guy, petting his head. It's okay. Yeah. What's going on?
I think the thing about it is like women, like we really crave like stability. I think sometimes it's scary to see like if your man is really rattled, we crave, because we're kind of supposed to be the emotional ones. Right. So, that could be what that represents. Like in that moment, the woman is concerned, especially if it has something to do like financially, or, like if you don't make the deal, we're going to lose the house. It's like, okay, yeah, that's fucking scary. But I think that, it's a little bit tough right now, because I feel like what I'm seeing a lot with my girlfriends in my social circles is the women are getting a little more masculine, and I have to like call myself on some of these things too. I definitely have like some masculine tendencies that I'm kind of trying to work on, so I can attract somebody that's so I can attract the type of man that I want, and I don't want a man that I'm going to have to like kind of boss around or play like the more domineering role. So in that, I think what's going on is we have kind of so many like boss bitches boss bitch mentality, and women we're getting I think really like a lot of us are just like really, we're kind of scared, but we don't really know how to show it. And I think,
but you girls are doing it.
Yeah, well, we're doing it.
Girls are doing it,
but I don't know how many of us are doing it happily. I really wish I would have like prioritized my mental health a little bit more when I was younger. And also, I wish I would have like had different boundaries set for the people around me and the way people were treating me. But I didn't really know how to like call those things out. So I'm kind of trying to make it for lost time a little bit in my older years. And what I see is it's a lot of women that I think we're not allowing for like a even private moment with our significant others for you to even say, hey, babe, I had a really bad day at work. You know, like I'm feeling really down. Like, you know, I don't know, maybe can we just like chill in bed for a little bit? Like, can you, you know, like, can we eat a sandwich in bed and like just have like a soft moment together?
Like, can we bond?
Yeah, like have a bonding moment. Yeah, and I think weakness is, or the softness is mistaken for weakness, which I've done that myself, and I've seen it play out where my girlfriends will, their guy might need like a private moment and a soft moment, and the women are like, ew, get away, you know, like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? But I think it's just because I feel like a lot of people are scared, and that's just like the scared.
But it's a mind fuck, because it's a mind fuck just for the simple fact that it's not even, I don't know, man. As a man, I would say it's even bad, you know, being that vulnerable, because it's like, if it's you know, your body, it's therapy, it's everything. If you say something, you know, like I think they said Bruce Lee had a saying. He said, "Be careful what you say about your body, because your body doesn't know a joke." Yeah. You know, so if you're saying you're sad, you know, you put it out to the universe. So if you're saying you're sad and you're talking about being sad, and then somebody else is agreeing that you are sad, then you're like, you're sad. You know, where if you kind of just like, I got to figure this shit out, you know, I got to make more money, I got to move forward, I got to fucking, you know, to infinity and beyond. Then,
in AA, we say you have to experience it. So you don't hide them away.
Yeah, so it could be poisonous.
Yeah, but you have to experience it.
But I strongly suggest any man, don't fucking complain to your girl. Like, you can't. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. She will pretend she gives a fuck. And a bunch of women will say they don't give a fuck, but they give a fuck. Okay. You know, and this is something they'll talk to their girlfriends and to their families.
Yeah, we do. We talk. We talk.
Don't do it, dudes. Do not do it.
What should a guy do though? Like, well, I'm actually curious.
Deal with
what
it.
would you say?
Deal with it.
Get a therapist or get a mentor, maybe.
I think a mentor for a man. Fuck it. I mean, you know, did you watch Sopranos?
No, I didn't watch Sopranos.
Yeah, Sopranos was a good show back in the days, but it was cool because he was this mob boss and he was seeing a therapist on a weekly basis. And all the mob bosses, he's seeing a fucking therapist. Like, that's crazy. But obviously his thing was a little deeper.
Like a special therapist for mob bosses.
But as a man, I would say nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck. Your friends will probably, you know, like, oh yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's your problem, and the only way it's gonna get solved is if you move forward. Yeah. If you move forward and just fucking keep your eye on the prize and keep taking those steps, or you know, however people want to say it, that is gonna be your best outcome. But if you constantly, there's a guy that I follow. He's fucking like super masculine. His name's Andrew Tate, and he has this little thing. He has this speech about where he doesn't believe in depression. He doesn't believe that depression is something that you know, you're walking one day and you catch it, you're like, oh my God, I caught depression, and that's it. It's like, no, you get into depressing situations, but if you change your situation, you're not going to be depressed. But what ends up happening is if you get in this depressing situation, like if you have no money and your car takes a shit and you're being evicted, that's a depressing situation. And if you don't change that, you're fucked. But if you go to a therapist, they're like, well, it's okay to be depressed. And you know what? Here's some medicine. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Bring out the depression. Bring out and you buy into it and you mentally fuck your brain and you get stuck in that, you're done. You're going to be for that. And that's kind of like the example he gave, you know, about Robin Williams. He goes, you know, Robin Williams for 10 years saw a therapist, was taking medicine, and doctors were like, it's okay to be depressed. Oh, just embrace it and deal with it, you know, whatever the case is. And I'm paraphrasing what he said, but it made a lot of sense. It's not a disease you catch. It's an emotion that you either feed or you fight. Yeah. You know,
we say a lot of talk about depression a lot in AA, and I talk about it with my therapist a little bit because I did used to suffer from it, and I feel like it comes from my mom's side. I saw my mom struggle with it a lot. But I have to say, like, after I stopped the drugs, stopped the alcohol, I which I didn't even go in there trying to say I don't even want to be depressed anymore. I just knew I didn't want my life ruled by alcohol and drugs anymore. And it kind of just ended up fading into the background. But I think...
Because you did something about it. You acknowledged it and said, well, I have two choices. Continue being depressed. I think that's
the thing. I acknowledged it. The thing that concerns me with what you're paraphrasing with the Andrew Tate thing is it sounds like I'm not hearing him acknowledge, like, it's there. It sounds like he's just like a David Goggins type of thing where you're just powering through. You're shitting down your leg and you're like keeping running. Like, that's cool, but that's not for everyone. I think the important thing is we say in AA, like, you acknowledge it, but you just say like, okay, today I'm not feeling very good. I'm feeling a little depressed, but I still have to get my shit done. Like, I don't stop. I don't stop. Like, life doesn't stop. Life is always in session. We acknowledge it. We're not trying to
you don't have to go full blown like David Goggins. You're right.
But we're saying today I don't feel good. However, that doesn't free me from my responsibilities and the things that I have to get done.
Right.
You know, so I definitely subscribe to like kind of something like that where it's like, okay, I woke up, I feel a little depressed today. I don't even really know why, but I still have to get XYZ done, and you still kind of keep it moving.
How do you start your days? Do you start with any motivational speeches or, you know, a fucking song that just makes you feel fucking great, your favorite breakfast, you know, like, what is...
Every day I start my day with inside OnlyFans.
I do 50,000 push-ups and pull-ups and fucking life is great.
I used to get up and go to Orange Theory every morning, and then they fucking shut it down.
Orange what?
Orange Theory.
I don't...
It's the fucking best workout ever. Oh my God. I'm so angry at Orange Theory. They shut it down. It was like right across from the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, kind of over in that area. Yeah. They fucking shut it down. I don't know what was going on. I got some inside information. Apparently they just like weren't running things like that. Orange Theory had always been the problem child, and they weren't running things the way that they should have been running. I don't know. So they shut it down.
But it was amazing.
It was amazing. It's like 10 minutes or 20 minutes of rowing, 20 minutes of treadmill, and then 20 minutes of weights.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And all the like equipment is orange.
Yeah. It's red and orange.
Yeah. Orange. Yeah. And so it was so cool. I loved it. I don't start my morning like that anymore, obviously, because it's gone. But I'm kind of still reeling from that a little bit. It was a few months back, and I'm still trying to figure out kind of my routine from there. I was actually just talking about about this with my therapist this morning, that I do really crave a morning routine. So this morning I got up and I listened to a 10-minute meditation, like a guided meditation. And that felt really good. I went to an AA meeting. I think the one thing that I struggle with, and I know so many people struggle with, is our head is so filled with stuff. Like just stuff.
So much.
Yeah, just stuff. Like there's some important stuff in there for sure.
This is why people listen to podcasts, just to get distracted from the stuff in their head.
This is exactly why I listen to podcasts, because it's like I need kind of something else other than the chatter that's in my brain. Recently, I've been experiencing more. I don't really know why. I've come to accept that it does just go in waves. There's not always a rhyme or reason. But I got up, I did this 10-minute meditation. I got into an AA meeting so I could clear my mind. And then after that, it kind of seemed like, okay, now I can kind of get my day started. But I'll tell you one thing. If you don't have like just these couple little things, I swear to God, you could go downhill so fast.
Well, look at you as an example. You see your therapist, huge help. Mm-hmm. You see your AA meeting, huge help. Mm-hmm. You're doing podcast in private, where look how personal this is. Once you put this on, this is so much different. We would never have a conversation like this.
Correct.
But because we're so focused and in tune and listening, it's a different experience. Then you have your work and your business, and then you have your friends and your social life. Like, you're doing so many things to stay positive, but
I'm trying,
but you're doing it. But how many people don't even have, don't see the therapist, or don't go to the AA, or don't? Because
I don't know what I would do. I wanted to kill myself before I got sober. Like, one of the last times I remember thinking, like, I'm going to kill myself, or I'm just going to be like a drunk that collects cats and like just hangs out with the cats.
That's fucking extreme. I'm sorry for laughing, but
no, please laugh, because it is ridiculous, which is why I didn't have it, thank God. But like, those were like my two ridiculous options.
Those are the options you put into your...
That's the options that I put for myself, yeah. And it was... I'll never forget that. It was so sad. I was like, wow, this is what my life has came to. I just didn't want to try anymore.
At that time?
30. This was when I was 33.
Yeah.
I just turned 3 years sober. So, yeah, I was 33 at the time. This was a few months before I got sober.
So it was your darkest moment?
For sure. I mean, one of them. I mean, there's like a handful of like super dark moments, but that's one that sticks out, that always sticks out, because I just thought, I'm tired of trying. And I don't even want to go outside and get drunk. Like I was postmating wine, and I didn't even like wine, but that was like all I could postmate at the time. And I was just, I didn't even want to get dressed up and go out anymore. I'm like, why? What's the point? I go home alone anyways. So fuck it. Postmates the wine to me. Direct, baby.
No driving.
I didn't even want to get up from my like room and go downstairs
to the door.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
What'd you do? You had to,
I had to. Otherwise I couldn't get it. Yeah. And I would order it in bulk. I would get like the get 5, get 1 free or whatever.
Yeah. Fucking Bevmo.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. It was something, but yeah, I don't know what I would.
But what was the moment that you were like, before, because now it's like I go to therapy, I do this, I do like you do so many healthy things to keep your mind healthy. But what was the moment where you were like, okay, cats or death, alcohol and cats or death? What snapped and you were like, wait, these are not my only options. Like, fuck this.
Yeah. Well, I did end up the guy that got me the sex therapist. This poor guy, I think he probably likes broken people, a bit of broken people. And so God bless that person in that way, because he was sober and he was like, you can come to these meetings with me if you want. Like, you don't have to participate. You can just come. And I was like, yeah, I'll just go like in support of you, because I like you and I just like want to be a part of your life.
And you're nice.
Yeah. And you're like perfect. And I'm like obsessed with you. So like, I'll just go and sit and I'll just support you. And so I would go, and I went for a little while, and I cut back on my drinking. I think I went for a few months and I cut back. And then I started really liking him. And we went out Easter weekend, and we went to a really nice place called Pelican Hill in Orange County. Yeah. It's so nice. It's so nice. It literally looks like,
beautiful.
If you've never heard of it.
They do weddings there.
Yeah, like look it up. It's beautiful. It's expensive. It's like everything that you want for yourself as like a woman in LA. Like you go there, I'm like with all my hot girlfriends, we like went to church, we're like all dressed up.
Big swimming pool.
Yeah, the big swim. Yeah, it looked, I don't know why it looks like White House-ish. Doesn't it look like Regal? There's like the long white
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
It just looks really regal, and you're like, okay, even if you have never been there, when you drive up, you're like, I'm somewhere special. I'm somewhere really cool. This is a nice place. And so my guy was looking hot. Like, I was just like, wow, this is like such, like, this is everything I could ever want. Yeah, paradise.
Heaven.
Food's good. Everyone's laughing. Beautiful day, right? There's no reason I should, like, really eat a drink.
Even if you see a crying kid, it's so picture perfect.
Yeah,
it's like,
it is. Yeah, the mom or the nanny is like right away attending. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the kid's like crying for like a legitimate reason. They talk it out. They need to get.
He dropped his ice cream.
Exactly. His iPhone. Yeah,
everything's
something
a
like
picture.
that. Everything's a picture. Yeah, it's picturesque. It's beautiful. And so there's no reason why I should have like needed to get wasted or get drunk this day. And so I made it through the whole brunch. I didn't drink anything. And then one of the girls was like, let's go to my place and let's have some drinks by the pool. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So I made it through brunch. The whole thing was beautiful. We get to the pool and I have a beer, and she runs out of beer. She had a few in the fridge. She ran out. It was like Easter Sunday, so we couldn't really order anything. So she's like, well, I have some vodka. And I'm like, okay, I'll have like one drink and then we'll go. And my guy at the time didn't drink because he was in AA. So I'm the only one drinking. He's driving. So I'm like, yeah, I have a sober driver. So like, why not? Yeah, exactly. So anyways, that was all she wrote. I ended up getting wasted. The next day, I was like in a blackout. I didn't remember anything. And I felt so ridiculous. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, what happened? Yeah. And I went out to the living room and he was sitting on the couch. And I just remember the look on his face. And he was like, just so done with it. You could tell. He was like, had seen, something where there was like a switch that had went off. Everybody knows that switch too, by the way. Everybody knows that switch. It's from like your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, somebody at work. And you can see when the switch has flipped in their eyes. Yeah. Everybody's seen it at least once where you're like, oh, fuck.
More than once.
Yeah. Fuck. Oh my God. And I seen that. And I just remember sitting like, on the chair. He's on the opposite side of the couch, and we're just like kind of looking at each other. And I'm just thinking like, I'm so fucking tired of being in this situation with somebody that I care about. I don't ever want to like feel this way ever again. This sucks. And so I was like, can we go to the AA meeting? Like, I think I need to raise my hand this time. And he was like, okay. This is the best thing that this guy ever did for me. The number one coolest thing, if you ever think somebody has a problem, like you can't unfortunately really tell them that they have a problem. You kind of just have to like make yourself available if they ever find out that they have a problem and they desire a solution. He never told me like, I think you're an alcoholic. I think you need help. He just was like living it through what he was doing.
Right.
And so that for me was really important, because if he would have said, you're an alcoholic, you need help, I'd have been like, fuck you.
Well, it's like when you tell somebody like to be quiet when you're like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they usually get louder. Yeah, they get louder.
You're an alcoholic. What do you mean?
Exactly. Yeah. And so I went to the meeting, I raised my hand, and the rest is history. But I'm so fortunate that I did have somebody that was kind of showing me that you can have so much fun sober. And in fact, now I have so much fun sober. My life is like 100 times bigger than I ever thought it would be. I thought I would never have fun ever again. No. I still do stupid shit all the time. All of the time. I say stupid shit. I wear stupid shit.
Completely sober, no weed, no nothing?
Completely sober.
That's awesome.
Runner's high.
Yeah, I have my friend's mother. She's older, and she always talks about how I don't do anything. Mm-hmm. Like when I watch people get drunk and get high, I have fun. Like I naturally have fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is for me too. I enjoy watching other people.
And you know what she also told me? She told me, because she's done a lot of plastic surgery, and then
is she me? Like, fuck yeah, I love this lady.
She's had a lot of plastic surgery, and there was a conversation. Everybody was asking, but doesn't it hurt? And what about the plastic surgery and this, that? And her response was, the only place it hurts is where I haven't had surgery.
I love that.
Straight out. I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking hilarious.
She's a savage.
Super savage.
Hell yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. But anyways, staying sober is, people can do it. And yeah, I've cut back. Like if I look at my drinking in my 20s, like I don't ever want to do that.
I could have never got sober in my 20s.
Luckily, there was no social media, and Facebook and Instagram and shit. I did some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
So fights and this and arrest, like it was wild times. Now it's like, dude.
You said you have a few DUIs?
Back then I had 2 DUIs. I had one when I was 20. And then I got one when I was like 25 or 26. So I had 2 within that time, and it was just a nightmare.
I think that's right around the times I got mine as well.
Yeah, it was a nightmare.
Like just going to fall off on my insurance. I got one when I was 20. I got my license taken away.
Yeah, same
for a
thing.
Year. Like, no.
No, nothing. Because you're under 21.
Exactly. Yeah. But of course I still drove.
And exactly, you're under, 0.08. But you're under 21.
Exactly. I was under. I think I was like a 0.7 or a 0.6. I was just barely. They were like, but you're not 21. I'm like,
no, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even get pulled over because I got pulled over. I got pulled over because I was racing my buddy, and my buddy got pulled over, and he did like a double pullover, and I was like, "Fuck!"
Oh God, yeah.
So no, after 26, I was like, "Oh, but this has to stop." I mean, I can't. I stopped driving. Like if I drank, I was like, "I'm taxiing." Taxi, or I'll sleep on somebody's couch.
Yeah.
But but then in 30s, I was like, "Dude, this has to stop."
Oh my God, the hangovers in your 30s. Whoa. They're so crazy. They last for days. Days. When I was 20, I would puke and make room for more. Right. I'm like, hangover where? Who? Don't know her. Oh. Yeah. I was a beast. My ex-boyfriend used to call me Wolverine.
Wolverine.
He would call me
fucking
Wolverine.
Hilarious. Because you regenerate so well.
Yeah, that's what he would say. He's like, I don't know how you're doing this. Like, how are you doing this?
I had a buddy of mine. We were living in Hollywood, and we were fucking crazy. Like almost every night, we would finish a bottle of Jack Daniels. And at the end of the night, after the clubs, after the parties, everything, we'd get back and we'd be fucked up. And it's like, well, we got to throw this up. Like, how do we throw this up? We had this thing. It was the dumbest thing in the whole world. At the end of the night, once you're done, the way we would make ourselves throw up is we would pour the biggest shot of Jack Daniels. And it's that moment where you don't want to drink anymore.
Yeah.
And it just touches you.
I wouldn't know that moment.
Yeah. No, and that's what we did. We'd throw up. And wake up the next day like, let's do it again.
Wow, yeah.
So bad.
Kind of smart, though. It's probably
it's crazier what people are doing now. You hear about these kids.
Yeah.
Did you hear about kids putting bottles in their asses to get drunk?
No.
They're doing like handstands, and they put like vodkas or I don't know what kind of alcohols, and it goes into their butt, and their butt soaks it. And I don't know what the process is, but they get fucked up. And I had a friend of mine, his kid was doing it.
No.
And he's like, my kid gets home, he's fucked up, but he doesn't smell like alcohol. Right. I just found out. And now they do it with tampons too.
Yeah, I've heard the tampon thing.
Like,
yeah.
it's like up their ass. I'm like, dudes are doing this. I'm like, whoa, like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids are doing this.
The youth. They got it from TikTok.
Cocaine's not even a real drug to them. It's an old people's drug. Like, it's all the shit.
Ketamine is a big thing.
I don't even know what the fuck ketamine is.
Ketamine is a big thing. Tootsie's like another one. Like, I dated somebody briefly who was like super into drugs. Tootsie. Yeah, it's like supposed to be like a cleaner high or like a quick high, but like you don't get addicted or something. That's like always
you
the
do
sell.
It every night. You can do it every night.
That's always the sell. Exactly.
Yeah,
it's cleaner and you don't get addicted. It's just like, okay.
You do it twice a day.
Yeah.
No addiction.
Yeah. First thing in the morning when you wake up and every night before you go to bed, it's like, there's no addiction. Yeah, it's so clean. But also, I know a lot of people are doing microdosing with like mushrooms and things.
I heard there's a lot of good to that.
Yeah.
I heard like the best way that I heard that described is a friend of mine. He's a doctor, and he was telling me the reason microdosing or those ayahuasca things are pretty cool is because imagine when you're born, you're on like a mountain of snow, okay, and as you go down the snow, you make one trail, and then you make another trail, and then you make a few trails. This becomes your belief system. You start believing, okay, church, okay, nudity is bad, okay, nudity is good, whatever you start believing. But as those tracks keep going, they get embedded in your brain,
right?
And that's your belief system. When you microdose, the way he described it is, it's like it snowed and the tracks are covered, and now you're like, there's other ways of thinking.
Yeah.
There's other ways of doing things.
Yeah.
There's other way. I don't have to just go into this. And now you have options, and it really changes your mind. So that's one way that I heard that like ayahuasca and microdosing helps.
I believe that strongly. I just think I'm like doing that by getting sober and therapy, but it just takes a lot longer.
And some people do it too.
Yeah. But I'm like, I'm a big, like if somebody can do that and they find a real big positive from it, I'm like a big believer in that.
I've witnessed people do that too. Yeah. I haven't done it. There's obviously like a fear, but like I hear all these benefits. I'm like, man, I'd love it. Because the other thing I hear is that you have to be ready to face your demons. You know, like you have to confront with ayahuasca, especially I think it was on one of Joe Rogan's podcasts. I don't remember whose podcast it was, but there was a conversation where it's like the difference between a good trip and a bad trip is if you fight your mind, like if there's stairs and you're like, I don't want to go up the stairs. If you fight that, you're going to have a bad trip. Because your mind's forcing you to confront it.
Right.
So if there's a door and you don't want to open it, you have to go in like, fuck, okay. And then you open these doors.
You have to be ready.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what therapy is. Like you're just every Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Let's open the door. Let's go do the stairs. Yeah. I just think it takes a lot longer. And I think it's less exciting. Yeah. It's less exciting.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, okay, here we are again, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Am I better yet? It's been 3 years. Whereas if you pop a pill or you take if you lick the toad, which one is that? I don't know which one that it's like toad poison or something. Yeah, you like lick the toad and then it's like this whole thing. I think that's DMT or something. I don't know what it is, but or no, it's Bufa. It's called Bufa. I don't know. Are we we're telling the kids about more drugs now, but Bufa, it's apparently like some sort of a toad or a frog.
I think these kids know more about drugs than we do.
That's true. That's true. They sure as hell know how to get drunk in many more different ways than I ever did.
100%.
But I think that, I think it's really beautiful. Anything spiritual, ever since getting sober, really opened up my mind to, like, I was really angry with God. I was raised really religiously and just Christian, but like super staunch. And so there was like it's very black and white. The way that I was raised, either you're good and you're going to heaven or you're bad and you're going to hell. Like there is no exceptions. There's no in between.
Unless if you ask for forgiveness.
Yeah. I mean, but then it's like, it doesn't get erased. So it's like, you're constantly like spending your entire life atoning for like that one time you did like that really, really one bad thing. And, I just think that's, I was kind of so angry at God after the divorce and everything. And, I feel like for a long time that made me feel like I'm not good enough or I'll never really be accepted. And that caused like,
it's crazy how the mind does that.
yeah, isn't it? And it is all us. Like, who else is in there?
Nobody
talking to me.
Nobody.
Me. Yeah, it's just me. Yeah. So I think when you're a kid, though,
when you're
you
a
take
kid,
on these things. Yeah, you hear somebody say something once.
I'm listening. I'm just gonna grab something real quick.
You hear somebody say something once, and then it kind of sticks with you for whatever reason. There's no rhyme or reason, and so I think the beautiful thing about getting sober and getting kind of a clear mind is that I got to go back and kind of figure out what the deal was with all that, because I think being spiritual and having these like beautiful awakenings that people seem to have when they're doing the ayahuasca and going back and healing their inner child and, like you said, creating the new paths in the snow. I think that there is like so much beauty to that. And I know ever since getting sober, I've definitely opened back up to that. Like I burn the sage now, and I have the crystals, and I have like I want to surround myself with things that make me feel good, things that feel good for me, things that look beautiful, because I feel like now that I have more self-respect, I have more boundaries, and as a result, I want to see beauty around me. My room is clean, or my house is clean for the most part. I have a certain boundaries or a set of standards for people around me, how people behave. And
well, even like fitness and plastic surgery, you do that stuff, you feel better, you look better, you feel better, you do better. Very simple. That's part of, that's almost like a therapy as well.
Yeah.
No?
Yes. I think stuff like that can be really beautiful. I do think that there are some drugs, and the last person that I dated opened up my mind to this, that there are some drugs that you can really use in a beautiful way, like the ayahuasca and the mushrooms and everything.
The microdosing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember there's one time where him and his friends took mushrooms and we went to a comedy show, and that's been like the one time where I felt like I didn't feel like I wanted to relapse. But that was the one time where I felt like I was the odd man out that I can remember in my sobriety. And I'm like, wow, they just look like they're having a blast. Like when I was drinking and like doing drugs, like it never looked like this.
This fun, yeah.
Yeah, it never looked this fun. Like they were just all like
aggressive,
looking at each other, like
giggling.
Yeah, giggling. And I was just like, fuck. This, like, you guys look like you're having so much fun. Like this actually looks so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do believe that even though I'm sober, I feel like it's just me. Like it's just my issues. Like, drugs can be really beautiful if used correctly. Certain drugs, drinking can be really cool and fun if used correctly. I'm just not able to.
Alcohol is a crazy one to me because I have drinks and I love drinks, but I've really minimized it. I really minimized it. Like before, my mentality was, I can't have one drink because it won't do nothing.
Yeah.
So I need like 4, 5, 6 drinks to feel buzz. And I had to get into that. Now I'm like, I'm good with my one drink. I ride motorcycles, so I have this silly rule.
Yeah.
2 wheels, 2 drinks max. Like that's it. And
I like that. Yeah. Because you don't have any protection.
You have no protection, and 2 drinks, my body weight's nothing, But like because I implied it, it's like I don't go past that. 2 wheels, 2 drinks, period. But it's crazy to me how fucking accessible alcohol is, and how much trouble do people get in because of alcohol.
Yes.
I think because of all the craziness in LA, I started doing some research on crimes, and I was just curious. I was like, fuck, when do most crimes happen? If I was to assume, it would be, in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
but
I would as well, yeah.
I read a statistic, and it's like, it's 50-50. It's 50-50. Like, from 7 o'clock, because they counted nights starting at 7. So from 7 to 7, that'd be night, and then from 7 to 7 it'd be day. It was 50-50.
Wow.
But at night, the number one crime, I guess because it's easier to prove somebody's guilty, was DUI stuff.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, fuck, how many DUIs? How many people have died because of DUIs? How many people have done this? And it was crazy, when weed was illegal. You're like, you're not gonna make weed illegal. Like that, all that does is make people drive slow,
right?
And cautious, and then just sleep on their couch and fucking eat Doritos,
right?
So, but alcohol is a crazy one, and it's something that's accepted in the world, in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's accepted everywhere.
There's a lot of things in the Bible. I don't think people realize that there's Bible savage.
Yeah. And then the last topic I want to talk to you about, OnlyFans. How did you find out about it? How did you monetize on it? And who would you recommend this for? Is it, and what is it in a sense? Because, a lot of people don't know what the fuck OnlyFans is.
Do they really?
Some people, I think everybody knows. But how would you describe it? Because I know, workout people have been doing it. And then also another thing I want to touch on, when Sebastian was here, they were about to shut down the nudity.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Here a while back then.
Yeah,
okay,
they were
cool.
about to shut down the nudity, and then they didn't, because people were like, "What? Like, you became famous off the nudity?
Right.
Like, fuck that."
Right.
So, how would you describe OnlyFans, and who would you recommend it to join and do? And is it just nudity?
No. First off, I would recommend, like, even somebody like yourself join OnlyFans. The one thing, OnlyFans is really cool, and it's taken the turn in that it is kind of like an Instagram, where you can follow many of your favorite Instagram models or actors or actresses, or whoever you really enjoy seeing on Instagram. You can usually go and find a free OnlyFans that they're somehow monetizing, say a podcast, or like you were saying, fitness, or I think there's like some DJs on there, and there's like some chefs, and they're monetizing from their following in one way or another. It's definitely not all nudity. I would say a large portion of it is nudity, and even in some different situations, it's sex. I actually don't know the statistics on that. I'd be really curious, actually. I'm thinking about that as I'm saying this. I wish I did know some statistics, so maybe that's something I should try to figure out. But I would say that probably a large portion is sex acts,
like
is
60,
nudity.
70 probably.
Yeah.
That's a wild guess.
Yeah, that would be my wild guess as well. But even if it's 60 or 70, that's still a pretty large portion that is potentially not. Because I think the number one thing that OnlyFans is synonymous with is nudity and sex acts. And that's kind of why they came to fame, especially in the pandemic, because a large portion of your favorite influencers was losing their jobs because we were independent contractors, so to speak. So if I can't go out and shoot my pictures with Sebastian or, some other local photographer, then I can't make my money. And then Sebastian can't make his money, or your favorite local photographer can't make his money. And then if I can't get the products from China that are trying to get shipped over, that I'm promoting in the first place, then that company doesn't make money and that company fails. So it was such like a domino effect that people were like, okay, I have my cell phone, let me stand in front of a window, get some natural light, and, take off my clothes, and, that here I am. And then you have people that weren't offering that prior, because they had a 9-to-5, maybe they were going in, their substitute school teacher or something, and now school's out and everyone's doing school from Zoom at home. So you have people that you wouldn't normally even be able to see. Now they're on there, they're doing the nudes, or they're even just offering something different, cooking or fitness or whatever. So my thing is, what I tell people, if you're trying to get some sort of a following on OnlyFans, do what you enjoy so that you can do it for a long period of time. If you love being naked, get naked. But if you're feeling like maybe, I want to go on OnlyFans and get naked because everyone's making all this money and I want to make all this money too, it's not going to happen. And even if you did make, a couple $1,000s or whatever, it's not worth it in the long run. So I would just encourage people. I saw this
right, because you didn't commit to it, but you put enough where it exposed you already.
Exactly, and then you're going to potentially feel shame. So like kind of ease into it, even if you are doing the OnlyFans. I have a girlfriend who was a realtor, and then she tried to do the OnlyFans thing because the real estate was slow, and she did it for a little while, and she's like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. And
her pictures were out.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where people are like, well, I saw this thing about you and having an OnlyFans. And she's like, no, what are you talking about? And she doesn't have it anymore. But it's like, yeah, the stuff's kind of out there. It's swirling around.
They're like, no, this is...
Right. He's like, you look familiar. She's like, Harry, is that you? No, but I mean, so yeah. So you want to kind of be sure, whatever it is you're putting out there, you want to take your time with it. Definitely don't get naked right off the bat. Please, whatever you do, don't start doing sex acts right off the bat. I'm not against it, but you just...
Not off the bat.
You want to take some time. making these types of decisions, because once it's out there, it is out there.
That's it.
You know, people can legally get things taken down, but you're going to be kind of chasing. These IP addresses are in other countries, and it's really, you know, the rules aren't the same in Russia or in Indonesia as they are in the U.S. And a lot of these IP addresses aren't in the U.S.
No, but even a basic thing, you could almost, it's impossible.
Right. So even if it's like the hottest topless pic you have, and you're like, I don't care who sees. Well, you might at some point, unless you're kind of willing to dive in. I would just challenge people to not be super reactive in that, oh, I need to make this money real quick, I'm going to just put this out there and then I'll shut it down and nobody will know. So I would because they will know at some point. Everything on the internet lives forever. Even Melania Trump has nudes out there. You're telling me that Melania Trump, you're telling me that she probably couldn't afford somebody somewhere to get all these taken down.
The hottest first lady of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she probably could, but you know why? What's the point? It's like she's just had to accept it at this point because it's out there. Everybody knows it's pointless. So that being said, you know, if you just kind of want to make your choices wisely. OnlyFans is for everyone. You can create a free account. You don't even have to spend any money. A lot of creators are using it kind of like an Instagram, in that they're just putting extra content on there. Some people are making a killing, posting in bikinis, posting in lingerie, not really doing much. That's not me. I wish it was me. I have nudes up there. I have nude vids, and I do like a Playboy style. I take special requests. I'm not killing it. I'm not doing bad. I'm certainly enjoying my life. I'm really grateful for kind of the life that I've built for myself. But you know, it takes a lot of work. I myself am still learning like new things. Lot of work, yeah. And I used to do the webcamming. So even me coming kind of from like an adult industry background, and then OnlyFans is bringing in new stuff all the time. They had stories, and then they had previews for like a set, so you could make a preview. And I was working with somebody who I have help with, the people that help me upload my pictures and stuff on my OnlyFans, and they're like, oh yeah, so we're just gonna have this picture free to show the other 7 pictures behind it. I'm like, that's my naked body. We can't have a one free naked body pic. And then like they're like, oh, but we're utilizing the new thing that OnlyFans did. I'm like, we're not utilizing it like that. Like they still gotta pay for that. Come on now. So they're constantly coming out with new things, kind of like Instagram. I say it's like, go on there. If I was a guy, I'd go on there. I'd follow like, you know, 50 of the hottest Instagram models. I'd follow their free pages and then go from there and see who I liked, see who I wanted to spend money with. But it is kind of becoming the new Instagram in a sense, that you're being able to find a lot more things other than like pornography or whatever on there.
Do you pay for picture, or is it all subscription, or there's a little bit of both?
Yeah, it's everything. You can pay
per picture. That's complex.
You can pay per set. There could be like a membership fee, like $9.99 per month. Some of them are free because they want to get like more people in the door, so to speak. And then they charge a higher price, a premium price for the picture sets, or they charge to chat, or they charge for a voice message. And then there's a premium price for like a custom video. Not all creators do customs. That's also what I want to remind the people at home too. Like if you go to one girl's profile, and then you go to another girl's profile and you accept it to be the same across the board, it's not. There are no rules. OnlyFans is a wild, wild west. Also, too, the thing about it is if I feel like super hot one day, maybe I do send out like a really sexy picture and it's free and everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best picture ever. I can't believe it. And then maybe one day if I'm like, oh, you know, I'm wearing like such a crazy outfit. And
I spilled orange juice. That's so crazy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, spilled some orange juice on myself. It looks like cum or whatever. And I'm like, okay, $99 for this or something. There's no real rhyme or reason. Sorry, there's just not. Yeah. You're dealing with one-on-one with creators. It's like you get that personal, intimate experience. But there's no rules.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part and the fucked up part about it. There's no rules, but like you should love it for that, because there's no rules.
How many people view your pictures before you go, okay, I'm going to publish them?
How many people?
So like you take a picture, you know, and then how many people in your team, or how many people do you consult and say, look, I want to post this. Should I? Nah.
Me. No, because
even the crazy ones, the good ones, all of it?
You know what? I used to be a lot more concerned with like needing to be perfectly photoshopped. Now I'm not. Now I'm not, because I can't put out the amount of content that I'm putting out and Photoshop every last thing. And also too,
it's too much too.
I'm so fortunate. And I'll say this is also one good thing about men. Y'all don't care about some cellulite, or if like one eye is a little bit closed and the other eye is a little bit bigger, or some hair sticking up. You guys don't care, because the thing about it is, and that's the beautiful thing about OnlyFans, is that if we're already creating that rapport, you might see like, oh no, she has a bruise. Oh my God, CJ, I see you have a bruise on your leg. Is that from your pole classes, your dancing classes? How are those going? Da, 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 da. That's like the really cool thing about men.
People interact.
You guys want to like jerk off to it for sure. You want to have a good time, but
that
then
fucking bruise. But what happened?
Yeah, you're gonna jerk off first, the nice juicy ass, and then afterwards, if you like the girl, you're gonna be like,
okay?
Oh God, she has a bruise. Yeah, like what's happening? Are you okay? So, but you're just typically
fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Typically, you're accepting of that as long as there's like a rapport,
right?
As long as there's.
Would you say? Well, obviously, I mean, in another sense, what the content creator publishes is kind of what they're training their followers to look for anyway. So if you're always doing Photoshop, then they're gonna want everything Photoshopped. Yeah, you fucked up on this one.
Yeah.
But if you're more natural and you don't give a fuck,
right?
So you're yeah. Correct.
Yeah. When I was doing the webcamming, we needed to be made up all the time. We needed to be on point, wearing heels. There was a certain standard. Now there's really not. The other day I made a video. I just got back from the gym. I'm so sweaty. I'm like peeling my clothes off, and people love that. And it's like, I would have never done that 10, 15 years ago. I would have been mortified. Like, oh my God, I don't have a full face of makeup on.
I just got out of the gym.
Yeah.
I'm sweaty.
I don't look good. I need to take a shower and put myself together. Now people are much more raw and real, because they don't want like such a curated look, because now we're on the internet so much. Even if you're not a content creator, you're consuming so much content. That your favorite, for the most part, not all men, some of the incels don't realize, but they understand for the most part that even, somebody like Pamela Anderson or Anna Cherie, let's say Anna Cherie, she's like a really big creator. She's not always perfectly put together. Sometimes she wakes up and she might have a couple hairs out of place or whatever. And they love to see somebody like that, kind of without all the glitz and the glam, that is kind of her life that she's showcasing on Instagram. Yeah. So on OnlyFans, when they even get something like that, it feels more almost like a natural relationship. Yeah. Where you're cultivating this trust and connection. Because I get to see you kind of like behind the scenes, more raw, more real. And that's like the beauty of it. But
you kind of, I mean, you pretty much said it with everything you said, but just to pick your brain, one of the questions would be like, how is OnlyFans so fucking successful when you have Pornhub and you have this website and that? When you have so much porn available, how does OnlyFans kind of make sense? Because if I was to backtrack and, it was like, I'm going to make a website, people can post nude pictures, and, a friend of mine would be like, well, there's porn. Why would they go to there? Right. I'd be like, doesn't make sense.
Right.
What's your explanation for that? If you have it.
It's actually what I was just saying, like the connection.
The more personal writing.
That is really the beautiful thing about men. And I'm talking about men specifically because there's a lot of women on there consuming content, but there's nowhere near as many women as there is men.
What?
Yeah. Even our male creators that we have on the Inside OnlyFans podcast, they're saying, even though these are straight men, they're saying, I get that I'm creating content for other men to consume. I get it. And so that being said, I'm just going to talk about it from a female perspective, and just assuming that the majority of my fans are male. And the beautiful thing about it is that guys, when you guys like somebody, you are kind of like, you do get invested. Like, men really do have a lot of emotions. Many of y'all, not all y'all, but
even in person.
Yeah.
Right? Like a girl says hi to a guy, he's obsessed now. He's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
She said hi. Like, what's that? I brought you flowers.
Yeah. Especially the men that aren't
attached.
afforded. Yeah. Especially the men that aren't afforded. Like here in LA, everyone is beautiful. Everyone's good looking. Everyone's successful. Everybody has something going on. It's like the best looking people, from all across the world come to LA. That's a fact, that's a given. They want to be famous or whatever and what have you. And so we forget that not everybody has access to these types looking of people.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, if I'm like Jimmy from middle of nowhere and I fall in love with this Instagram girl who's got 200,000 followers, and you're telling me that, I mean, I know I can't DM her on Instagram and have a conversation with her on Instagram.
That's
but
almost
you're
impossible.
telling me exactly that I can go on OnlyFans, and for maybe $9.99 a month, I can potentially like exchange a few words with this woman, my dream girl. I can see photos from behind the scenes from her photo shoots, or, I can get a message in the morning. Hey babe, hope you have a great day or whatever. Oh my God. My God. And then when I do get my check every 2 weeks, I'm buying something. I'm buying something off of her wish list. I'm sending her something. And this is like middle America, nowhere,
Yeah.
So to be able to have that option, that's crazy. So in LA, it doesn't, we sit here and we say this a lot. I can go to Pornhub. Why do I need to go to OnlyFans? But there's a special thing happening because I'm making a connection with this person, and this person is making a connection with me. Yeah.
That's humongous. That's like every business is dream is to make a connection with their clients, and that's why they make these commercials and these things so impactful with the mother and the child and the father. Like you want that connection. And that's humongous.
That's why celebrities are paid to endorse whatever and what have you, because if I have a connection to somebody like Angelina Jolie, and Angelina Jolie is like wearing this shoe, like I'm gonna naturally think like, okay, what about this shoe? This shoe's so great. I know Angelina Jolie volunteers and does this, this work. Maybe the shoe is giving 10% of its profits back to whatever. So you're curious about the shoe because it's on that famous celebrity, because you know about that celebrity and you already feel like you have a connection with that celebrity. So I'm more apt to buy the shoe,
Is there a lot of businesses advertising on OnlyFans?
No, unfortunately.
Which is actually pretty cool too.
Businesses are still, that's the whole thing with OnlyFans. OnlyFans it's not in the App Store yet. OnlyFans TV, which they're kind of trying to liken after YouTube, I believe is in the App Store because they're trying to keep it family friendly. There's no ads or anything on OnlyFans because it is still considered like NSFW, not safe for work. So they're branching off, creating OnlyFans TV, which you'll see kind of a lot of your creators on OnlyFans TV. There's podcasts and a lot of the workout people and the cooking shows, they're all singing and all this. They're on OnlyFans TV. I don't really know like the direction they're going to go with that, but I do know that one is safe for work. And I think that is in the App Store. And then I'm sure that OnlyFans itself will monetize from there. They'll probably sell ad space and different things like that. But as of now, OnlyFans, you can't advertise on it. And from what I understand too, like
which
even
is cool.
Some things like PayPal or whatever, or not PayPal, the way that they're running the payments, the servers that they were running the payments through, like they had to switch that or something like that, because, all of these businesses are trying to get away from the sex work. There's that word again, but like the umbrella of the sex work.
Sexy.
And OnlyFans represents that. So businesses are trying to distance themselves from that. Yeah. So it's an interesting time to be in this space, because women as a whole, we're really, it's tough like to really do much wrong right now as a woman, which I kind of love, but only because it behooves me. But so it's really interesting to see this, but also like we're getting deleted left and right. Like I have so many girlfriends that are deleted off of Instagram, which is like their main way of driving traffic to their OnlyFans, because we are women on the internet. And they just don't, if I like show my shape too much, I can get banned
I've seen
or
some
deleted.
Crazy fucking pictures that I'm like, how is this not banned?
That's the thing. Some of those people have special Instagrams through Facebook. So they have the IP addresses are connected to like something with Facebook, like, and this is all just hearsay. This is just my opinion. I'm repeating things that I've heard from reputable sources, but I don't know. I've not been on the back end of Facebook, so couldn't tell you for sure. But from what I understand, some of these profiles on Instagram that don't get deleted, that aren't verified, that have, 10, 20, 30 million followers, and they're just posting the craziest, raunchiest shit. And you're like, how are you getting away with it? It's just people that have kind of that inside.
It's like a piece of the nipple was blurred.
Oh, I can show you. I can show you a few. I have several different accounts that I am checking all the time that I feel like are women that have gotten these special Instagram accounts that are connected to something at Facebook. So it's like they just get a pass. I don't know for some reason. And they seem to do okay, but I have I have 2 girlfriends right now that I'm trying to help recover their accounts. And these are girls that...
It's like impossible, isn't it?
No, it's not impossible. Mine's been deleted like 5 times and I've gotten it back.
Really?
It's impossible kind of to get the TikToks back. The TikToks are what people are going through right now, getting deleted, and they're hard to come back because...
But I thought TikTok, the whole fact that it was so popular is because it's not being deleted.
No, it's an apocalypse now.
No.
Everyone's getting deleted left and right. Yeah. And even the people that have the blue checks, they're getting deleted or they're getting their blue checks taken away. I'm currently, because I have a lot of friends that dance or do OnlyFans. So there's 2 sides right now arguing about the whole Twitter buyout, that Elon is buying Twitter and he's taking it private. I guess it would be privately owned.
Correct, for the stocks.
Yeah. And, it's exciting, but it's also scary because it's kind of just up to one guy, so to speak, whether or not, women that are promoting their OnlyFans or people that are promoting their OnlyFans are going to be allowed to still continue to do this because Twitter is kind of like the last frontier.
No, I get that. But part of the agenda is like to stop being so strict and cutting people's accounts. Like the 2 main things that I heard him talk about was 1, he wants to verify people. Mm-hmm. So there's this robot bullshit can stop.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some real verification. Mm-hmm. And 2, he wants to be more freedom of speech because, Twitter has banned so many people because they either say, Joe Biden's son's computer, boom, deleted. I mean, there's so many reasons.
Do they delete Joe Biden supporters? I thought it was only Trump.
Well, they
supporters.
deleted. No, they deleted. They did that too, and that's one of the rumors. Hopefully, Elon Musk brings back Trump.
Yeah, I hope so.
But when they Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, when I know people that made comments about the computer, their accounts were deleted. So about his son, not.
That's so fucking ridiculous. The whole thing is so fucking ridiculous. Like. I don't know what like the whole Web3 is all about, and I'm like not really much into like crypto or NFTs. I'm still really behind on that, unfortunately. But I don't know, like, do we have to go to Web3 or like what's gonna happen? I don't know. It's so ridiculous though, because here's the thing: like, why should we care? About if somebody says something about Donald Trump or Donald Trump says something, or it's Joe Biden's son's computer. Why do we fucking care about any of that?
Well, 1, why do we care about it? And 2, who has the say to say it's right or wrong? Right. Like, who has the say to be like, I don't like that.
Right.
Delete.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Right.
And where I'm kind of happy about the whole deal with Elon Musk is when Ukraine asked for the satellites for internet, he sent them over. And then when Ukraine, when everybody was posting, they go, hey, block, because I think Apple Store, Android Store, a bunch of people took off RT News, which is Russian television news, and they took away the app. So they were blocking Russia's messages and stuff. So a bunch of companies took that off. Well, they went to Elon Musk and they said, hey, because you have your satellites there, can you block Russian news? And he's all, no, I believe in freedom of speech. I'm not blocking that. What? So that's one of the cool things he did, and where I was like, okay, this is probably the reason this guy wants to buy Twitter, because he does want to practice freedom of speech. Yeah, like real freedom of speech.
It really is Twitter really is the last frontier. If I need like up to date news, I go to Twitter. Yeah. I'm not even like a super active Twitter user, but I know I can get the non-biased up to date news on Twitter. Which recently Twitter was even getting weird too, like about they disabled my girlfriend's account because she had like butt pictures. We were all wearing bikinis. It was like 3 butts, and it was like, I guess, too close up. And she's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, even Twitter is getting crazy now. Like, how?" And
because Twitter would show all kinds of
porn.
Shit. It would show porn. It would show
like, they're saying like now, like on the header, you have to have a certain header, and it's just like fuck. Like, and this is the thing that we as women have to deal with more so than you men will ever have to deal with, especially on the internet, is that if we have like a shape, there's like a computer, and this is what happens every time somebody gets an Instagram ban, or say that we're like soliciting sex. Like if I post a photo that maybe let's say suggest if I post a photo with my legs open but I'm in a bikini or something, am I soliciting sex? Am I soliciting for somebody to come and have sex with me? Like, not really. And a computer is going to tell me that? If I say, hi, if I'm dressed like this in a t-shirt and jeans and I say, hi, I'm CJ Sparks, somebody come have sex with me, that is soliciting sex.
Right.
But if I am just sitting there existing in a photo, so I guess probably not, you can't even really call that existing. If I'm just taking a picture of myself and then putting it on the internet and saying like, great day for a pool day, I am not soliciting sex. So that's the thing is a lot of the...
Right. It's like that same picture could be in the Victoria's Secret model a magazine.
Right.
And now you're selling underwear.
Yes.
Because they want to take it.
Yes. And so that's the issue with kind of like why these things are getting taken down. Because
so the problem is it's not the content. It's the people that's taking the content in that way.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And so it's like, where do we draw the line? If I'm wearing tight clothes, am I soliciting sex? And then, it goes into the R word and everything, was she asking for it and all this? And then it goes into like, okay, so
like it's like this picture, you could be like, oh my God, is she promoting sex or whatever the case is. But then there's girls that wear such tight clothing, they're completely covered, but you can see everything.
You can see everything,
it's like see-through.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, she's soliciting sex, like.
And she has a sign in the back that says sex, and it's like, that's okay.
Right,
but
exactly.
This is,
Right. Or, or even to say like a woman, it's kind of to go to the opposite. It's saying like a woman in a burqa, is she not soliciting sex? Well, she's left the house. She, she's she's without, a male escort. Is she then soliciting sex? She's out there. She could get sex. Yeah. From anybody. God forbid some man come and give her some sex, because she's outside of the house. She
got sex.
Where she can get the sex. Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing so is that, where do you draw the line on that? I wish, and I would be happy, and I know so many other creators, if Instagram gave us a list of 10 different poses that you cannot do, and it's across the board. I mean, granted...
Even that's kind of fucked up too, right?
It is, but here's the thing. At least there'd be clear and concise guidelines.
You know how much more money they would pay on OnlyFans to see those poses?
And that's what I keep on trying to remind myself on the back end is it's like, okay... for a while I was posting like photos where you could really kind of see my nipples or, I would post like in a G-string, and now I just don't post that on my Instagram anymore. Like I don't even try to post. I'm really careful like of a butt in a bikini. Yeah. And because you can get messed with for that. And it's like, okay, well, y'all know where to go and see it if you want to see it. And that's what's happening with a lot of my girlfriends is it kind of is. And it kind of even harkens back to like getting married one day or whatever. It's like, well, at least my poor husband and he won't have to go on my Instagram and, see my nipples poking through my shirt one day or whatever. At least, it'll be behind a paywall somewhere on OnlyFans. So I guess, that's better. That's better for the family unit as a whole on down the line, but I try to look at it as it's like a positive, but it's fucked up when they just delete these profiles that have, hundreds of followers and hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of followers. It's so shitty because, and everybody kind of looks at it like, oh, you're just an influencer and you're just upset because you can't get your free Botox. And it's like, well, yes, that too.
That adds.
But also, this is my
it's a real concern.
Livelihood. Yeah, I really am making a living.
Yeah, but it's like you gotta settle for certain rules because it's their platform and whatever.
But that's the thing; it's not the rules across the platform, and that's where they really start getting.
Yeah, there is no direct rules. Yeah, because they're kind of making them up as they go, and then when it comes to
celebrities, exactly, there's a lot of rules for thee and not for me.
They favorize.
Yeah,
favorize.
Yeah, that's a word. That's a totally a word. Favorize. Exactly. So, somebody like Miley Cyrus, I think she had like a full on boob exposed at one point.
Remember the whole Janet Jackson thing?
Yeah.
The Super Bowl when her boob came out, it was like the biggest thing.
Yeah,
I don't even think there was internet, but it was like, oh.
Yeah, and Justin Timberlake ripped it off, and she always said, I'd never consented to that. So that was like a big deal that she never consented to that. And then she was the villain, and he didn't catch any flack for that. So, I mean, that's where the man-woman roles come into play. The ways that women are viewed on the internet and everything. Yeah. He was a badass for ripping it off, and she was a whore for exposing her nipple to the children. It's like, wait a minute.
What happened?
There was two people in this, but like, okay, I'll just take all the blame, I guess. So poor Janet Jackson in that. But yeah, there is a lot of, I don't know what we're going to do. Men and women, we got to come together and kind of figure this out. I wish that's
even fucking hard because it's not just men and women now.
Yeah. Is it not? Is it like us against like big pharma or what is it?
Well, there's 67 genders now.
Yeah, there is 67.
67 or 70 genders, something like that. Like, how fucking crazy is that?
I went on to somebody's, I fell down an Instagram hole, and I fell down a hole of somebody that I used to follow and I didn't follow. And then I thought, oh, check it out and see how they're doing. They're a whole other gender. No, they're a whole other gender, which I was shocked.
But they created that gender.
Yeah,
it's not
I was like,
natural.
whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like, oh my God, how long have I been away?
Yeah, but the whole, this is kind of random, but it's just funny because it's like the whole men and women thing. I was watching when I think it was Borat, or it was one of those silly movies. And in the screen, all of a sudden, there's a big penis, and it's just waving around. I'm like, fuck, man. This is like, I don't want to see a big, giant penis. Yeah. So I talked to one of my film buddies, and I was like, dude, how come in so many movies they get away with, like, penises, but you don't see like female parts. You don't see pussies. You don't see that. Yeah. He's all, Robert, because penises are funny.
Yeah, penises
and
are a joke.
Pussies are fucking sexual.
Yeah,
like, that's
exactly.
it. And I was like, nah, okay, that makes sense.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Because men are visual. So if you see a penis or if you see a vagina, you presumably cannot control yourself. If you see a penis, it's silly. Because women,
you're gonna laugh and be like, "Oh fuck, come on!"
Because that penis isn't attached to anybody that we care about, so it's funny, it's silly. We laugh, we giggle. We're not innately turned on like you guys are. We have self-control.
Oh, you hear this?
Yeah.
All women?
Presumably, all women, all men. I hate when people say any of that.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. That's all anything.
Most women? No.
Yeah, I mean some.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Facts are facts. More women probably have self-control.
It's you see Seinfeld?
I've watched it, yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching it yesterday, just for shits and giggles, and I was watching an episode that was called Master of Your Domain. Mm-hmm. Did you see that one? Mm-hmm. And it's where they made a bet where they were like, okay, you have to be, whoever plays with themselves loses. And they had $150 bet, and Elaine's like, I want in. They're like, no, you're a girl.
Yeah.
Like, get out of there. And anyways, they all ended up doing the bet, and she was like the third one that lost and stuff. It was so funny.
God, that's so funny. Yeah, I mean, that's not, that's just kind of like the old adage of like, that men are no self-control and y'all are just like jerking off into like, one time Kayla was sharing that like she went on, I don't know, she's on a date with some guy, but he was like, that's like when I was like growing up, that's the corner that I would like jerk off into. And she's like, you would jerk off into a corner, like a jerk off corner?
What the fuck?
And she's just like, no woman would ever like, as a woman, like we would never think like that's my like jerk off masturbation corner. Like it's women just don't do that.
Yeah, but I've never heard of that. Yeah. Like a jerk off spot.
It was like a corner that you like jerked off
into. I think most men would be
what?
like, most men would be like, fuck, I just anywhere. Like, I just need to fucking get out of my system. Yeah. But not like, when I get to my corner, I'm going to save this from my corner, Is he facing the corner?
Yeah,
is it like messing with his like,
that's what I think I asked her.
Reach? Like, does he stop himself?
Like
does he like slap it against the wall before he like,
that's it. The deed is done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but there's
fucking people are crazy.
But yeah, God bless the men because, they pay my bills. I appreciate that about y'all.
Where can we find you?
Instagram.
I love the website.
CJ Sparks, CJ SPARXX. And then, I just got my domain figured out. So it's www.cjsparxx.com. Only 2 X's, y'all. That's how we're doing it. Just 2. No
Control
third.
yourselves.
Control yourself. Have a little self-control, for God's sakes. And CJ Sparks across like so many platforms, except for all the ones I got deleted on. CJ Sparks on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Reddit,
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Hello.
CJ Sparks Vaults.
Vaults.
VALULT. Spelling is not my strong point. And then my free one is CJ Sparks Fans.
Nice.
FANS. Yeah.
Cool. CJ, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing your stories.
Thanks.
And I hope to see you and catch up with you later on another podcast. And, and I wish you lots of success on your podcast.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
It's pretty solid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap.
My stomach started crawling. I'm so sorry.
How'd you feel about it?